The one thing we really need to focus on is getting more people to run for office. Now, we are helping them and supporting them in a lot of different ways. You're not out there on your own. So, you know, and the fundraiser we just had, like Erica said, that's the first fundraiser that Pulaski County Republicans have had in like 12 years. So we raised, well, we're waiting on another check from the Cherokee Casino or whatever, but that's going to put us a little bit over $11,000 that we made off of that dinner in November. So if you had something to do with that, would you stand up? If you check people in, if you donated something, if you emceed, if you auctioned, stand up, y'all. We want to, I mean, that's a big deal. Thank you. So we've really been working, and I'm really proud of everything that we've done. We've been a do something committee, and we've been working. So I appreciate each and every one of you doing that. Okay, so we're going to move on to our main speakers. You all know about the abortion amendment that the Arkansas for Limited Government is out getting signatures on petitions to try to get abortion put on our ballot. And if they get it on the ballot, it's going to go, if it passes, it'll go into our Arkansas Constitution. And that's what they're trying to do, is get the right to an abortion enshrined in our state constitution. And we fought so hard to stop it and to overturn Roe versus Wade and that kind of thing. So our speakers tonight are Ms. Rose Mims from Arkansas Right to Life. And we have Luke McCoy, who is here from Family Council, which one of the things in your seats is Family Council's voter guide. They're a very good source. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys. I don't know who wants to go first. Ladies first.
And I'm going to hand these to you to take one if you want. If you don't, just pass it back. So on this side, and I'll pick up what's left on the back. Okay, hello everybody. So good to be here with y'all. Thank y'all for coming and inviting me, Lauren. Yes, I'm here to talk about the Arkansas Abortion Amendment, but the materials that I'm passing out are the decline to sign that we announced a few weeks ago and at Public and March for Life, and we just had a press release today. This is the big push to keep people from being duped into signing that petition on abortion. So take one. If there's not enough, I can bring it up. Y'all have some more on the shelf out there. And then we have also bumper stickers. And I know a lot of people don't like to use bumper stickers, but this is a temporary campaign that abortion stops a beating heart. It's been around for a very long time. It's when you put a bumper sticker on your car, it's like a moving billboard. People do read them. They can impact people. We just don't know. We'll never know, probably, but you know, occasionally we do hear a story about a woman who was on her way to an abortion clinic, said, "God, please send me a sign." Saw a bumper sticker, changed her mind, didn't have the abortion. And let's not forget, abortion hurts. Hurts women, kills their children. And people need to know that. And so Arkansas Right to Life is primarily an educational campaign. So we're always working to change hearts and minds with the truth about what abortion is. And so I don't have to, I'm not going to preach to the choir tonight. Y'all are Republicans. You stand for life. So I'm in front of the crowd. So I like that. But please help us to educate your friends, your family members, your church, your neighbors, co-workers, everybody. I have started doing that. You know, sometimes it's not easy to ask somebody, don't sign this petition. I was talking to a friend this morning who is, I don't know where she stands really, because we don't talk about it, but she knows what I do, and been really stressed out lately. She said, why? And I told her and explained to her what this amendment does. So please educate yourself. Basically, I'll just give you it in a nutshell, it legalizes abortion through all 9 months of pregnancy. And they'll say it doesn't do that, but it does do that because it allows it for any reason or no reason up to the 5th month of pregnancy. And then after that, all you have to do is say it's a health reason and have a doctor agree with you, the abortionist. And or it's what's wrong with the baby, or you've been raped. I mean, a 9-month pregnant woman can go to an abortion center, say she's been raped, and get an abortion when she's 9 months pregnant. The other is incest, because what this Arkansas Abortion Amendment wants to do is gut Amendment 68 that says it's the policy of the state of Arkansas to protect life from the moment of conception until birth. And it also wants to repeal, eliminate, declare null and void any law that would restrict a woman's right to have an abortion or prevent her from doing it in any way. So that means no safety measures in the clinics, no safety measures for the woman to know that she's getting good health care. Strike that last few words. It's not health care. Abortion is not health care. But that she's getting what she needs to complete the abortion, so she could have complications afterwards and have to go to an emergency room. I mean, she could even have life-threatening complications. We've seen those in all kinds of abortion procedures. So this amendment would eliminate all of those. So all the laws that have been passed throughout the years that I've been working and Family Council been working to protect women and to save the lives of vulnerable children would be gone, just wiped off the books. Now, not all of them, but most of them. And there's been around 60 passed. Arkansas has a law on the books dating all the way back to the 1800s protecting life. And they just want to throw all that out the window. So it's so important that you read this, that you get involved and do something. Because if you just sit in your chair and do nothing, they're going to win. And we're on the losing streak. If you paid attention to what's happening around the country on this issue, whether it was a pro-life measure or a pro-abortion measure, pro-life has lost everyone. And we've got to stop that. In Arkansas can win this, but everybody has to do something. So decide what you're going to do. Whether it's put on a bumper sticker, that's easy, y'all, to put on a bumper sticker. It's harder to actively ask somebody not to sign the petition, because then you have to explain why not. And you need to get your talking points down. It's harder to speak, get up in front of a group of people, like a school class or your local, there's all kinds of groups out there that work, Rotary Club, those kinds of things, and talk about it. But we have to, because if we don't, you can't really be duped into signing it. And already we've heard from people who have been duped into signing it. A pastor, a lady who, I don't know what they told her. Well, I do know they were pushing 2 petitions in front of her face. One of them had to do with the tax exemption on diapers and formula and hygiene products, and then the abortion amendment. And that's another thing. We need to be where they're gathering just to hear what they're saying. And if you need to, do a recording on your phone. Because they are going to tell people things like, this, we don't pass this. Women will die because they can't get the treatment that they need. Because sometimes things do happen during pregnancy. You don't ever have to kill a baby. You treat the mother. And we have doctors that, can help us if people understand that. Because there's a lot of people against this. You're going to hear more and more from them. If you saw them in Saturday's paper, the Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Dr. Marianne Gunter had a guest column explaining all of the reasons why this is from a medical standpoint of a clinical psychologist. And so there's going to be more of those out there. Legitimate professionals in Arkansas will be against this. Pastors need to be against it. Churches need to be involved in this. It's a moral issue. So don't let them get out of saying it's a political issue, because it's not. It's a moral issue, and it will be the ruin of our state and our nation if it continues. Roe is gone. It didn't end abortion. It ended a so-called right to abortion. So now every state is to decide. Let's decide for life in Arkansas. Decide tonight what you will do, and then do it. Join Arkansas Right to Life. Join family council. That is because we're going to be working together really closely, along with lots of other leaders who are in the state. Right there alongside with us. So I'm going to stop now, turn it over to Lou, and he's going to talk a while. And then I don't think there's really going to be time for questions, but Arkansas Right to Life, call me and email me, whatever. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank y'all.
Completely agree. Thank you for having us. Hope everyone had a great Valentine's Day. I wanted to introduce myself. Obviously, Luke McCoy. I am not only worked family council for the last 10 years. I'm also justice of the peace in Sherwood. I want to put that plug in there. But nonetheless, if you live between the highways of 107 and 67, 167 inside of Sherwood, I'm your justice of the peace. In Gravel Ridge and all the way down. Nonetheless, all that said, I wanted to share with you about the amendment. Again, I wholeheartedly agree with Rose as far as the points. I'll try to be brief. Or accept the expert before you. Better get my glasses out. I don't want to repeat what Rose said, but one thing that we discovered is that this measure is definitely more extreme than Roe. Now, I could say all these talking points and not fill in the blanks, but I want to fill in the blanks because I want you all, just like Rose said, I want you all to do that. I want you all to go out and do something about this amendment. How is this more extreme than Roe? I think maybe Rose had alluded to it a little bit, but basically with Roe, states could still implement restrictions. States could still do something before 20 weeks, after 20 weeks. They had a lot of, now, but the states have a lot of leeway to be involved, basically, in the abortion process, from the beginning of birth to even after. And so with this, there's no restrictions. By the way, I have a copy of the amendment back in the main foyer there. You've got the ballot title on one page, okay, and then the amendment on the other. Now, I like short amendments. I don't like long amendments, like marijuana, medical marijuana. But this is one page. I like that it is short. I do not like this amendment. I like that it's short, but the fact that it's short, there's a lot of questions to be asked. Part of the problems we have. So if you haven't had a chance to read it, it is not legalese. Go back to the back. I got about 30 sheets. Obviously, you can go online, council.org, find it on there. You just go to Google and Google actually Arkansas abortion, then you should be able to find a copy of it. I want each and every one of you to read it. You probably think it's wrong reasons why you read it. Nonetheless, it's more extreme than Roe. That's the first point. Second point. I want to talk about the entire number of pregnancy. I'm not going to do that. It could very well eliminate parental consent. And so I think most of you are familiar with what parental consent means. It means just what you think. If there's a minor in the state of Arkansas, maybe the exception of a few rare cases. Nonetheless, a minor needs at least one parent to get an abortion. Right now, abortion is illegal in the state of Arkansas to save the life of another. Okay? But before Dobbs was handed down that struck Roe, minor needed at least one parent. In this amendment, if it were to pass, we're going to collect enough signatures to go out and pass. We have to eliminate parental consent altogether. And my boss, Jerry Cox, the family council, he has a story where a gentleman approached him. On YouTube, but he had a story where a gentleman approached him. Basically, he got billed in the mail. The daughter's abortion. It was done too clean, not because it was a bill, because it was a breach. Something else, it will permanently enshrine abortion into our state constitution. I use the word permanently. Why do I use permanently? Because it's going to be really difficult to get it out of the state constitution. We do not want to fight that battle. We want to fight the battle, we find the battle. And then if we haven't on the ballot, we want to fight it there. Rose mentioned something earlier that we really need to beat it. We need to beat it 25 percentage points. If we beat it bad, we beat it really well, and then come back. Or they're going to have to recruit someone with big money to come in and try to do this again. Like Rose said, there are things. So we at Family Council Right to Life and others, even though this is the most pro-life state in the union, according to American United Life, even though we've got a law Republican constitutional super majority, we don't care about all that. We love the case. We're going to do this measure really well. At home abortions, although come on. In a minute, abortions have to be performed in this legislation. In fact, there are 3 P's we talk about this amendment: people, place, and profession. So you can't restrict anything about personal abortion. You can't restrict who to perform the abortion. You can't restrict where it took place, where the abortion is performed. Normally we think, oh, we can only have an abortion here. Well, obviously we got abortions at home, wherever. But this doesn't say anything about where abortions can be performed or restricted to. Okay? It's a concern. Informed consent. It gets rid of informed consent. If you go to the doctor and have a major surgery, the doctor, for the most part, is supposed to sit down with you, or maybe one of their nurses sit down with you and explain, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is what some of the situations could happen, complications. This is what we should expect afterwards. We're going to need to do a follow-up. This and so forth. The amendment says nothing about informed consent still allowed. In fact, it says the legislature of the state of Arkansas political subdivisions, no one in the state can restrict, prohibit, delay, or penalize abortion services. That's one of the main phrases that we do. We'll try to wrap up here. Sex traffickers. You're a sex trafficker. I know no one here. But a sex trafficker would love this amendment. Would love this amendment. This amendment doesn't restrict taxpayer funded. In fact, it usually allows it. There's nothing in the amendment that says it's not allowed. So therefore, we have to assume, because it's so short, we have to assume it could be a mistake. I think if God forbid this were to pass, Arkansas would become an abortion destination. Missouri, it's on the ballot. Okay, so with the surrounding states, as far as I know, I checked earlier this afternoon, there's not a measure on the ballot in Texas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Mississippi, and so on. So if this were to pass, or if Missouri were to pass it, Arkansas would become an abortion destination for these other surrounding states. We don't do that. We don't do that. Last but not least, if this were to pass, I don't have faith in a lot of our, especially the Pulaski County Circuit judges, who would probably never don the doors of this meeting, or family council officer right to life. I don't trust them to rule correctly if this were to pass and it gets challenged and pro-lifers would try to restrict it. I really don't. Again, we want to fight this battle before it gets on the ballot. We want to make sure that it does come to them. There were several other things I wanted to say. I'll wrap up by saying this, echoing what Rose mentioned. I want each and every one of you to do something, somehow, some way. Some people may say, I don't have time. Well, you can donate money. Some people say, well, I have time, but I don't have money. Great. You can go to a polling place. Family council is going to try to engage state legislators across the state and others to utilize their volunteer network to go to the polls on March 5th, here just a little bit, and hold a sign that says decline to sign worse than road, more extreme road, or something along those lines. If you'd be willing to do at least that. If you want to get connected and learn other ways, I don't have all the time, I don't have a lot of time to talk about all ways you can help. I put up some response cards in the back. I think I brought them up here with me, but nonetheless, you can fill it out, put it in the glass jar. That's where the amendment, copy of the amendment is. My business card is back there. And then last but not least, I also brought some more voter guides. I wasn't sure if you could see, but nonetheless, I've got a 50 or 75 or so voter guides back there in the back. Or do we have time for questions? Is that okay? Anybody have a question? Yes, sir.
I have a statement more than a question.
Go ahead.
Steve Whittigan, I'm actually, you're my JP.
Yeah.
I had a discussion with a friend, ended up accusing me, are you changing to be pro-choice? And the answer to that is absolutely not. But I will say this, Republican messaging sucks. We lost that congressional seat up in New York, and what was a traditional Republican district on Long Island. With everything Biden's done, from inflation to money to Ukraine, the corruption, all this other stuff that they lost. There's no way they should have lost. The same thing is, I had a friend in Ohio, and Rose was right spot on. She said that we lost every time on this battle. It was because the messaging isn't there. And Bloomberg, Soros, as you said it, you're absolutely right. This is the most pro-life state in the nation. And they're going to flood Arkansas with tons of money to try to get this passed. And we have to really craft the messaging. Like one of the people I just had that talked to me about this said that they were told that there's no exception for the life of the mother. I actually talked to one of my pastors. You know, let's say it's an ectopic pregnancy. And I said, if the fallopian tube bursts and bursts the artery that feeds the fallopian tube, the woman can bleed to death. And he explained it to me, and I thought this was a great way. He said, your intent was not to kill the baby. It was an ectopic pregnancy. Your intent was to save the life of the mother. And unfortunately, while you were saving the life of the mother, it took the life of the baby. That was not the intent. And that was a pretty good way of messaging and explaining that. That's why I wanted to share that. I've already got people telling me that we're tricked into this, and obviously the pastor was even tricked into this when Rose just said, you really got to get on the messaging and sit down and think this through and how we counter their messaging. That's just my 2 cents.
So just a couple of quick thoughts. So I think technically an ectopic pregnancy is not an abortion.
Right.
So, but nonetheless, I appreciate you sharing that. And second, I think there's probably going to be a poll done. I know Family Council, Right to Life, other organizations are getting together, the governor's office and so on. And we're going to try to put together, I've got a whole bunch of talking points. This is my boss's cheat sheet, depending on who he's talking to, whether it be a Capitol View or an interview or a crisis pregnancy center and so on. So if you need resources, if you need something to say, here am I, send me, let us know. We will put something in your hand, your inbox. We will make sure you get what you need. Sir.
Hi, JP. This question is for you and also for Rose. With your organizations, or are you aware of any other organizations doing this type of work that are specifically gathering data and publicizing intentionally how abortion disproportionately affects Black and brown populations?
There's resources out there. I guess if I had to refer to the poll, if we're talking about the abortion amendment, in the context of the abortion amendment, what we're going to do is not Family Council. I don't know who's going to commission the poll. It's expensive to do a poll. But we're going to take what the poll says, and people say, yeah, I'm against abortion because of A, B, C. And if that's the vast majority, then we're going to go with that messaging, whether it's disproportionately affects minorities or poor women or whatever it may be. We're going to go with it because that's the best way to defeat the measure. But there's plenty of research that talks about how poor, single, Black women, I think, is probably the most typical pregnant woman to go get an abortion.
Over 40% of the population.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to make the point that the technology has gotten so much better now, and I wonder if you're thinking about, which I really think we should, because it would be good propaganda about what stage would you choose, like of the infant and the baby's, or in the mother's belly, and maybe, because, yeah, pictures in general, it's just like the SPCA that tugs at your heart, and then a lot of the other things, if we showed pictures, a lot of people are still stuck on this bundle cells, and I know plenty of them. Yeah, or that, a whole bunch of things, but this is all about my rights, and they even think ectopic pregnancies, you're already some abortion, so a female's gonna die. people need educated, and visuals are one of the best ways. So I mean, if you have it at billboards, TV, something, that people can see on our website, maybe show the different months and say what would your cutoff be, or something to that extent, so that they can see what is in there month by month.
That it's no longer a black and white, like grainy images, that we can actually see what's going on, and you don't have to try to find it.
There's no denying, just faking it.
So my boss has a picture of a Time magazine from the late 60s or 70s. That was one of the first photographs of a fully developed fetus in the womb at 20 weeks. And that's 6 decades ago or so. Forgive me if I'm that old. I'm 40, so, but nonetheless, we've known for decades it's not a clump of cells. It's a clump of cells maybe in the first week or two, if that. So, I mean, I think the internet is your friend. If someone really wants to know, and if you encounter someone and they say, well, what about this? If you don't know the answer, you can always say, well, I'll get back to you. Now, I'm not a medical professional. Sometimes I'm stumped. I just had a conversation with my sister who said she's pro-life, but she said, Luke, are there some situations, she's a medical professional, nurse practitioner. She said, what about this language about the life of the mother? I mean, does the woman really have to be septic, going into shock, and all these other things? So I have a long conversation with her about just the practical reasons why that's not true. If it is, it's really rare. And if it was the case, it's because a doctor's scared he's going to get sued, not because they did the right thing, probably. But nonetheless, that's probably all of our time. I appreciate it so much. I'll be here until the end of the meeting. I got stuff in the back. Really, really appreciate your time. Thanks again.
Thank you, both of you. And so remember, the name of the group getting signatures for this is Arkansas for Limited Government. So it's a very deceitful title. That's something that we all would agree with, is limited government. And it's like that on purpose. Iverson back there, we were discussing it, and he says Satan is the big deceiver. To make us think certain things when it's really not about that. Yes, Rick.
I just wanted to say, what Rose and those guys are doing to to fight this is to decline to sign.
Yes.
And so what I was going to suggest is that we can all post that out, and everybody's got 100 friends at least, probably, if not 1,000 friends on their social media followers. And if we just put that out in this room alone, we'd have thousands of people that would hear it, and then maybe some people would repost that. But I would just encourage you to do that. Talk to your pastors. We got to get this word out. This is a fight that we don't need to lay down on.
That's right. And it actually, we were talking, I was talking to somebody the other day about pastors. Pastors need to be talking about this. They have to, and a lot of pastors will not do this because they avoid controversial topics. Talk to your pastors. They should be leading the charge on this and talking to their congregations and telling them about things. So please educate your friends. I ran into someone the other day that didn't know about this. So please tell people what's going on. We've got to move on the agenda. We have another speaker. We were supposed to have 2 of the Hill Township candidates for constable. Mr. Stafford is sick. He is not able to be with us today. Mr. Powell is here, and he was running constable.
Thank you, Lori. I'm sorry to hear about Mr. Stafford's illness. For his quick recovery. My name is Chris Powell. I know some of you I don't know, or you may not know me either. In 2022, I ran for constable of Hill Township. I don't know what that is. Pulaski County has 2 townships, one north and one south. Hill Township is everything north of the river. So Maumelle, Jacksonville, Sherwood, North Little Rock, and county areas north of the river. So I represent about 170,000 Arkansans, Arkansas. Constable's not an office you hear much about. It's in the state constitution. It's a law enforcement elected office, kind of like the sheriff for sub-county level. One of the reasons I ran for this, we see how the Democrats are just turning things crazy all over the country. And they're just tearing down every institution in this country. And I felt, being a lifelong Republican, a lot of times our party has neglected some of the municipal offices, and school boards, and the Democrats notice that they take over the school boards and the courts and law enforcement positions. I see what we got with that. And so I felt like it was, we need to plant the flag and run for every office that's out there and say, we're not going to let you just run over the country and run it. And so some people may not see some of these offices as very consequential, but you never know, what may come to that. So I'm proud to represent Bill Township. I've had constituents reach out to me in the last few months. They say, we live in North Pulaski County, the rural part of the county. We've got people stealing off people's properties, churches. We're doing all of this, and the sheriff's office can cover all this. They said we're wanting to start a neighborhood. Citizens just watching the neighborhood. I said, would you help us organize that? So I'm working with them to help organize that. And I think we're going to see more of that. As I say, the Democrats let crime just run rampant. They don't hire enough officers. They don't dedicate enough resources. And so that's one of the things that I've been working on. Also been investigating some illegal activity going on in my district that I plan to take to state law enforcement here very soon. There's a lot of things going on under the surface in society we just may not realize it's going on. There's a lot of criminals out there. And so I just want to do my part, watch out for our part of the state, be part of the solution, and not just sit home and yell at the TV. So I was able to flip a blue district red last election, just barely, but we did. I feel like I can do a lot with a little bit, so I may be asking for some support for the fall campaign, hopefully, if I win the primary. Got the same Democrat opponent this election, and we did it once, I do it again. So it was a pretty tight margin, so we just got to work harder than the other guy to hold the seat, and do that. Anyway, I appreciate your support. Chris Powell for Constable, and and
we will help in any way we can to defeat the Democrat. Okay, so we invited both Ron Wood and Barbara Webb, who are Supreme Court. Both of them had some other things this evening. Rhonda Wood thought she would be able to come, but I went ahead and put her on the agenda, but neither of them could make it tonight. We're going to go to the county convention, which I can. I said is Saturday, March 16th, and it's going to start at 10 o'clock. Okay, so put that date on your calendar. We'll be electing the state committee man, state committee woman, district woman, state convention delegates, district convention delegates, and district committee. So it's going to be a long day. We are going to have a pizza and lunch. Okay, so we will have that for you.
What was the date again?
March 16th, and that's a Saturday, 10 a.m. Yes, it's going to be here. We already cleared that with Seth, so put that date on your calendar. Okay, so next is Seth Mays. He is the RPA Executive Director. You all know who he is. He really probably doesn't need introduction. But one of the things this year we The presidential year is you can run as an RNC. Go to the RNC for a Republican presidential candidate. He is going to.
Thank you, Lori. This is the moment I know everybody has been waiting for. Everything that I'm going to say, by the way, is on our website, Arkansas.org. I would use it as the affidavit, the delegate to the RNC, as well as the instruction sheet on there telling you what to do with that form. But also found attachment about 10 pages long. Every detail of this process in its entirety. This process was unanimously approved by the state committee last summer, and one made a motion, if I recall, from that meeting. It largely mirrors the process that we used in 2020. By show of hands, who here has been to a national convention? Perfect. That was the answer I was looking for. I'm going to try to explain this in a general way possible, though, of course, if you have these questions, those as well. So first, the filing process. That will start next Tuesday at 9 a.m. You can file that work either in person at the party or print it off and bring it. It doesn't need to be notarized. The last day is going to be on Saturday, Monday. That's also the last day of early voting. So the filing period to be a delegate in Arkansas is the same period as voting for the March 5th Tuesday primary. We've got to get your filing ahead of time. That way we can do portion of delegates after the primary is over. And the process will pick up from there. As a filed delegate, and also caveat, few people do it, you can file for multiple candidates. So in 2016, I know of an individual, I think she filed for half of the wanted to maximize, her ability to go to the convention, at all costs. So if you want to do that, you just need to get multiple forms. Primary, we'll portion those up based on the rules that we pass. We are a proportional state, kind of. We have some thresholds that kick in if the candidate receives majority support to where we more look like a winner-take-all state. So at certain thresholds, other candidates can still get delegates as well. So kind of between proportional have to be RNC rules. But we also acknowledge that if there's a candidate pretty far away is ahead, they're going to be receiving more delegates because of that. The first day that a delegate files will ever be voted on to go to the RNC, we get a special district meeting. That is on May 11th. All 4 congressional districts on May 11th have a special meeting. All 4 congressional districts will elect 3 delegates and 3 alternates to the RNC. On this form, you don't only put your county, you also put the district that your county is in. Pulaski County, of course, is interesting because there could be a couple of examples of those that are not in the same district that are instead in the merger. Those individuals will go to that respective district meeting, not the second district meeting. So the first attend the district meeting for the district event, again, 3 delegates and 3 alternates will be elected. A week after that special district meeting on May 11th, that meeting changed, which is the state committee meeting. Again, that's the day that the state committee passed last summer to hold this meeting to elect our at-large delegates and alternates to the national convention. That day, we will be electing 25 delegates and 25 alternates. For the purposes of voting or being considered a delegate or alternate, there is no difference. There are no more rights or privileges, whether you're a district delegate or an at-large delegate. This is the way our system is built, so at least on the front end, we make sure our delegation mirrors some proportionality across the state. Let's say Pamela here files as a delegate, is elected an alternate at the same district meeting. She thinks alternate's nice, but I can do better. She could run that next week at the state committee meeting to be elected a delegate, and we will consult this with the district meeting based on who received the number of votes and move somebody up. Somebody can be promoted to an alternate. So Pamela is a district delegate, and for whatever reason something comes up and cannot attend the RNC in Milwaukee later this summer, the person that fills the first spot will be the first alternate from the district, not the state, and vice versa. If some weird circumstance, Pamela can't go, none of the alternates can, nothing, the delegation as a whole to elect somebody from that spot. So there's thought put in every way about how we can show up there with our full voting power of 3 delegates and 37 alternates. You'll know that the numbers 40 and 37 are not the same. That 3 discrepancy is our 3 officers to currencies. That's the state chairman, that's the national committee and the national committee mayor. Those individuals have already been voted on by the state committee as representatives to the RNC. There is no alternative. There's an alternate rather for their position. So they are already going to the convention. They are not free to vote for whoever they wish. It's now all delegates are what our proportions are. That is the general process, about as simplified as I can make it. Next question I always get, and probably the most important one everybody wants to consult on the front end, is what does it cost to go to national convention? Nobody in this room of political people raised their hand having gone to a national convention. My entire life has been working for candidates or political parties, never government jobs, I have never gone to a national convention. I have been Southwest. I've worked in politics. It's not an everyday occurrence. It is very much a once in a lifetime thing. You'll hear stories of, I've been to every convention since Reagan. There are some people that are fortunate enough to do that. A lot of people that is to file for a delegate, and each time you file for a delegate is a $300 bond. Where does that money go? That money is set aside and totally collected as one lump sum. That is reintroduced by the state party to pay for what we call the delegate experience in Milwaukee. So if you are a delegate or an alternate, spouse, guest of same, every morning we will put on essentially a mini eat-a-day dinner. We will have delegation breakfast Monday through Thursday, as national broadcast, in which we will distribute the delegate and alternate passes that morning at breakfast, try to provide a speaker, right, states, alternating so-and-so, and we can get person X back and forth, so that every day we can provide you with national voices in the party, cost money to produce those events. We also have a delegation event the Sunday before that I'd really like to tell you about, but it's not on our agenda. It's going to be fun. And then there's also a state event that is just for Arkansas that will be next Saturday as well. So it's not just the $300 delegate fee, which you will get. Certainly more than that invested of breakfast and speakers, in addition to swag bags and all the other events that we put on for that weekend. You're also going to be on the hook for all of your travel, so all your airfare, the state party does not provide, that's on yes, as well as the lodging. The RNC has put every hotel in the city of Milwaukee, but pretty much the state of Wisconsin. This is going to sound ridiculous, but I promise you, it's so much better than it sounds. The RNC has promised that every state and territory delegation will be staying in the state of Wisconsin. And you say, that sounds like a promise to me. The BMT in 2020, before both conventions were scaled down drastically and essentially turned national, going to be in Milwaukee. We were going to be in Charlotte. They had multiple state delegations and territory delegations that were staying in hotels touching O'Hare Airport. That is not Milwaukee. That is Chicago, for those of you who explore it. So the promise that we will all be in Wisconsin is actually a really good promise. It still doesn't mean that we might not all have to load on the bus every night and go for an hour and a half bus ride to get into the security zone in Milwaukee to get ushered. That's what we know. But all of that, essentially, a week's worth of hotels in a major area of the city, that is also going to be on the delegate and guests to do that. Your filing fee covers the events that we produce, but again, airfare, lodging, the meals while you're there. Obviously, you're going to get souvenirs from this experience. We've all been to sporting events; those are never cheap. I assure you. So it is a costly event, and that's just something to take into consideration as you apply to be a delegate. I think the scenario you don't need to get in, apply to be a delegate, you get elected for a month out from the convention, you're looking at the Excel spreadsheet, the numbers aren't matching up. So I don't think we're going to be able to go. Because then somebody who wasn't elected as delegate or alternate now only has maybe a couple weeks to get the resources in order to get themselves to that same place that you were elected to be. So I would just give that some thought. If that's something that you be committed to all the way through, as to whether or not that delegate process that you're jurisdiction. Sitting at home and watching it, watching it too, and it's not all that bad. But obviously, a technical convention is certainly something that's we all have done. So that is our general process. That's the best idea I can give you on what budget cost wise. Any questions about the delegate process? Questions in general?
How do you get after the Super Bowl halftime show? You guys will get ushered into.
I can either confirm or deny. Iverson, do you have questions?
Yes. District. Since the census is split, that's going to be split up. So actually, live in the fourth district, I think, of West County. So we might be now back to solid delegate with the fourth district.
Correct. For the purpose of a regular district meeting, Pulaski County is in the second, but on our affidavits, we specifically ask for congressional districts, and our rules approved by the RNC specify that candidates run in the congressional district that they live in. So did you say you're in the fourth? So you would on May 11th, as opposed to attending the second district meeting, which would be that day, the 14th, also. I should say too, as a candidate, you'll be afforded time to study for yourself at the district meetings. We don't have any kind of requirement on that because it could vary. If one district has 5 people that filed, that got 30 spots, that's different than say a district has 30 people filed. You might give a couple minutes to the smaller group, a group that's larger, you may not do that. The only thing that we have strict time limits for is the at-large meeting on May 18th. All candidates will receive 30 seconds to stop. And you will see very creative things. I remember in 2016, I think Barbara Webb drew the first position on the ballot for Trump delegates. So she was the first one to come up to the stage. And she had a little soapbox, a little wooden box, and she put it down. She literally stood on a soapbox and gave her speech. And that's the way you look to distinguish yourself in 30 seconds, because after listening to an hour of everybody in 30-second increments, it's hard to keep pace or keep real track of it. So we'll have to get creative. We'll have more instructions to the delegates once we know who they are, and ask them what to expect for that. We'll have an ability to think for yourself in that way. Okay, all I got.
Thank you. Delegates to RNC, if you have any other questions, talk to Seth. He's got that process down. Okay, moving on, in your chair, you are going to see 2 proposed rule changes. These have been proposed by June Levine, who is a state committee woman. Now, these proposed May 18th, and you need to know what's going on with these. So the 2 changes, the first one is that, a lot of you remember that we declared Asa Hutchinson a not recommended candidate for president. Okay, the first proposed rule change does not allow the county committee to declare a candidate above the county level or the file a not recommended candidate. Okay, so you need to know that that is on there. The second thing that has been proposed is that instead of a majority, they would like June would like for it to be 2/3 in order to change the rule or get a rule passed at the state convention. Right now, it's a majority. Those are the 2 proposed rule changes. You all need to know about this because we will be voting on this. And we are going to be asking your opinion. Under the state party rules, here, I'm going to read directly out of here. Let's see. Go to section 4 review. Article 2, section 6G. Under state committee minutes, The duties of the state committee man and state committee woman shall attend state committee meetings, political functions, vote on party policy matters, and election of state officers, reflecting the will of the county committee, and inform the county committee of actions and decisions adopted by the school committee. To my knowledge, this was never been, has never been presented to the body, or that's what. So I just want you to be aware that I want to pass this information on to you. Which leads us to the next thing, which is a resolution. The speaker has a resolution that so I'm going to get it over to him. And again, it's the chair. You can read a resolution that he is proposing is in your chair. Resolution against two proposed rule changes for the May 18, 2024 LPA.
I guess I have to read this so you can follow along on the board there, you have it in your chairs. It's a resolution against two proposed rule changes for the May 18, 2024 RPA state meeting. Whereas the county committees are represented by candidates running for office above the county level. And whereas the latest proposed rule is remove power from the county committees and prohibiting county committees from declaring candidates above the county level, quote, not recommended, end quote. And whereas the latest proposed rule changes will require 2/3 vote instead of a simple majority to pass rule changes at the state convention. And whereas Article 1, Section 1B of the Republican Party rule states that, quote, the final authority of all party matters shall rest in the biennial Republican state convention, end quote. Therefore, no deliberative body except the state convention should attempt to limit convention's authority. And whereas the Republican Party is attempting to remove power from the people, and whereas the county committees are the level of political involvement closest to the people, deserve to have a voice in our state. Be it resolved, the Pulaski County Republican Committee intends the two proposed rule changes, which will be voted upon at the May 18, 2024 state meeting. Be it further resolved, the Pulaski County Republican Committee stands with the members of the county committees across the state who want a voice in the Republican Party. Be it further resolved, the Pulaski County Committee hereby affirms the stance that power should remain with the people in accordance with the Republican Party of Arkansas platform. And I move that we adopt this resolution. So now we have discussion. So,
Why don't you discuss first, because you proposed the resolution,
next slide. Okay, I'm going to show you on the slide here what we're all thinking. I'm going to say it out loud. The platform, oh, I'm sorry, Ken. The platform and principles are being wrote. I've noticed that since I became a state committee, and they're slowly grabbing power from us, we the people, the grassroots, and they're consolidating up to the top. We're overridden on everything we know to do because they have a 2/3 majority. So what we do here, and I'll give you examples of what's happening. The ruling class, I don't call it rhinos, it's an insult to elephants as well. They're the ruling class, the donor class, or otherwise, they're the buffet Republicans. What do I mean for that? They take our platform book, which all of us hold here, and they pick and choose what principles, what planks of the book. Anything that helps us out. I'll show you some examples of what that means. They don't want to be held accountable to the very rules and platforms they wrote. Rules are being rewritten to block your voice, to block your vote, and to maintain their status quo. Most of you joined this committee because you wanted change. This is not just here in Arkansas. This is all over the country. Here's some examples. The district wanted to choose their own members of the state committee. We were overruled as soon as we walked in the building. They got Robert's rules like I've never seen. That should have been objections or taken to the question. That's how it was posed. Well, that's not allowed to have any debate. It should be voted on. But they took it as a regular motion. And once again, they won. You guys know why? They have a 2/3 majority. The second one that I remember is closed primaries where they got a bigger Republican to win as a Republican. We got overruled. I don't understand that one at all. Why would you want closed primaries? It's been proven that Democrats are diluting our candidates because they're coming in and voting for the weakest one. But we need to vote it. Nobody lost that vote. There it is. So we got overruled on that one. I also want to remind you that the Freedom of Information Act in Arkansas, one of the strongest in the nation, is under attack, and Republicans are introducing the bills, and Republicans are backing the bills, all to leave FOIA. Do you know why that is? They don't, what do you mean you don't want us to know what they're doing? I understand all that, the governor not wanting in jeopardy for particular reasons. But we're talking about all the rest of the stuff. We want to know what's going on. So folks, there's a big war going on. We're the grassroots people. I'm sure there's some buffet Republicans in here, fine, free country. We got a lot of work to do. And this one's a very critical one because you knock this one off, you have anything to do. So, anybody in rebuttal? I'm done. I yield my time.
Okay, so Mike has spoken in favor of this resolution. Would anyone like to speak against this resolution? Okay. Then we will go to a vote, I guess. So, if you vote yes, you are in favor of Mike's resolution. If you vote no, you are against Mike's resolution. So all of those in favor of Mike's resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. So, Mike, let's do those resolution as well. And we have another resolution. This one, we were supposed to do last month and we got snowed out, as you all know. The next one is being proposed by Dr. Washburn. Would you like?
Thank you. Appreciate this opportunity, Lori, and public purpose and results. This is entitled "A Resolution in Support of Israel." Whereas on October 7th, 2023, innocent men, women, and children in Israel were brutally, mercilessly, and barbarically attacked. And whereas the leaders of Hamas have publicly stated that the October 7th massacre is just the beginning, that they intend to repeat it over and over again. And whereas it is foolhardy to suggest that the state of Israel has somehow peacefully coexist alongside a culture that indoctrinates its children to believe they are serving God by killing Jews, and whereas Israel seems to have finally concluded that in order to prevent its enemies from continuing to attack Israeli citizens, it must take definitive action. Resolved, the Pulaski County Republican Committee supports Israel's decision to take definitive action by eradicating Palestinian terrorists, including Hamas and their enablers, who commit the crimes against humanity in Israel on October 7th. Be it further resolved, the Pulaski County Republican Committee condemns the Biden administration, the United Nations, and any other organization that attempts to coerce Israel to in any way diminish its efforts to vanquish its mortal enemies. Be it further resolved, Pulaski County Republican Committee stands with Israel in longing for peace in the Middle East. Be it further resolved, the Pulaski County Republican Committee hereby affirms our full support for Israel's right to exist, Israel's complete right to defend itself. Thank you. So I would like to make a motion that we adopt this resolution.
As introduced this motion, so he's going to now speak on this motion first.
Okay, so now the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal are both saying that the Biden administration is pushing the two-state solution, which has always been rejected by the quote-unquote Palestinians. Israel's like, hey, let's keep all our 7% of Gaza in 2005 and make them start the transition. Figure out how to live together. October 7th was a wake-up call for a lot of these people. I've seen the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, on Today Show a few months ago. Setting up here. Well, the aid that we're getting into Gaza, we have safeguards in place to make sure Hamas doesn't hijack. Why? Anthony Blinken, Secretary of State, saying, hey, look, most of the Palestinians, they're civilians, they just want to have a normal life, they're not really Israel. Lies. We need to stand up for the truth.
Okay, so Doc has spoken for his resolution. Would anyone like to speak against? So go ahead and take the vote. Yes.
I've only shared this video with Cody Howe, program director, I got the source. I was sacrificing everything.
Okay, all right.
I like that.
So, yes.
Steve Bannon, Bay, I think the reporter that is very interesting. He said he has seen these videos that I think some of them said they're absolutely okay. That they threw grenades in nurseries, mostly full of babies, without section they all carry. And so it's absolutely perfect.
Okay, so we're going to move to a vote. All of those in favor of adopting Doc's resolution, please say aye. Aye. And those opposed, please say aye. Okay, I just have it. So, resolution is adopted.
Thank you.
All right. So that takes care of our resolutions. Are there any motions?
Us and letting us have a say. You're not representing anyone that I know of in this committee.
Second.
Okay, so Pamela Boyd Shields is making a motion to censure State Committee Woman Jude Matheny for not consulting with the committee. Who seconded that? John McFadden seconded. Okay, so, Discussion. Pamela, you made the motion. If you want to speak, you can make a motion.
You're supposed to represent your community. She has not done that. Most of the time, she doesn't. She said, that's to not even tell us what's going to be presented to the state committee before she comes to us. It's wrong.
Okay, so anyone has spoken in favor of her motion, but anyone like to speak against her motion? Would you like to speak against the motion, Teresa? Okay, so Teresa has spoken against the motion. Would someone like to speak for the motion? Okay. You, okay.
Just briefly, at the last convention, when the state committee men and women were voting, I was sitting in the back of the room and I watched June stand up and vote against us. Every.
Okay, so, no. Erica has spoken in favor of the resolution. Would someone like to speak against the resolution? Jennifer?
What is this? What is that? That means. What does that mean?
No, it's a statement, just that she has not performed her duties as written by the rules, I guess. It's just a statement. It
How
doesn't.
about we read the rules?
Already read it. So, yeah, we've already read it. Who spoke last? I think, okay, so it was a 4. So does anyone want to speak against the resolution? Against?
Not against.
Okay, is there any wrong against? Anyone who wants to speak against? Okay, for the resolution.
June is not here right now. She asked us, so I don't know why we want to do it her. Same thing that she did to us. In other words, the fact that she's not here, that she didn't ask us to back to this reason. So I don't think that has any bearing on the.
Okay, so Rick has spoken. Rick has spoken for the motion. Does anyone want to speak against the motion? Yes, Jennifer.
I just feel like it sets a precedent, in writing that I believe like. And. And no issues not being about. Which is really tough. I think that it's in stronger as an educator, really ready to work with issues that you know
Okay, so Jennifer has spoken against the motion. Would anyone like to speak for the motion?
I guess I missed what the name calling is being referred to. If I understand the expression. I have no idea what this is. No, I don't think I've heard the name calling. My understanding is that censure basically is approved. That censure means disapprove. So our state committee woman has some amendments, voted one. Representing, and I think that's why the motion that made sense. Please correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm missing something.
Okay, so Doc has spoken for the motion. Would anyone like to speak against the motion? Anyone want to speak against the motion? Okay, so does someone just call who called the question? The customer has just called the question. Okay, so what that means is when you call the question, you're ready to end the debate on this and move to a vote. And so we're gonna vote on his calling the question. So if you vote yes to this, you vote in favor of calling the question, which means you want to end the debate, you want to move to the vote. If you vote no on this, you want to continue. I got it? All those in favor of calling the question, ending the debate, and moving to the vote, please say aye. Aye. And those opposed? So now we're going to move to the vote on this. So the motion, the original motion, was to censure June Matheny due to her lack of honesty. What was the exact motion? Motion to censor State Committee woman June Matheny. So was seconded. So we're going to go ahead and move to that vote. So if you vote yes, you are in favor of censure. If you vote no, you're against it. Okay, so all of those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Okay, ayes have it. So your motion's passed. Okay, announcements. We have some things here. The combined district 1 and 2 meeting at dates will be Saturday. If you don't have your tickets and you want tickets, pay cash or check to panelists. You'll take your money up here. If you want to pay with a credit card, the link is on our Facebook page. It will be here Saturday. It's the Embassy Suites. Check-in is at 12:30. It begins at 2. And Congressman Matt Gates is the keynote speaker. The Constitution camp has been put up. If you have kids, it will be in July. It's up on our page also. It's for second through 9th graders, and it's a really fun time. And it all has a really fun activities, and they learn about and how our country began. Yes, there's always speakers and different things, skits to have a good time. Also, Robert's Rules Training. Okay, if you haven't signed up for this, it's on our Facebook page. There's a link. We have online Robert's Rules Training on the 19th, which is Monday, from 5 to 8. It costs $5. And if you use code True Conservative, it actually takes 50% off, maybe $2.50. It'll be good for everybody to brush up on their Robert's Rules. And it is online, so you don't have to actually go anywhere. But I encourage you to do that. I've signed up for it. I think a lot of you have, but it is going to be a really great refresher to learning Robert's Rules, which we all need to know. And then lastly, poll watchers and poll workers. Okay, so we desperately need poll watchers. They have changed the poll this year. A lot of you have been poll watchers in the past. What you have to do now is you have to go to the Arkansas State Board of Election Commissioners. Go to their website. They have a little slideshow you watch. And then you take this small test. It takes literally like 5 minutes, and all of you who have been poll watchers in the past already know all of this. Once you take that test and you pass it, within 2 days, they're going to email you a certificate that looks like this. You print this out. You take it along with your authorization form, which is the time. Me first, a poll watcher, and we do have the sign-up genius set up for you. We will sign the authorization forms tonight. If you've gone on it, you have taken your test, and you've already said something to me about it. We've got poll watcher forms, and we'll get you the link to the sign-up sheets. If you still need to do this, if you have any questions about where to go, please call me, text me, email. But we've got to get more poll watchers going. And so, yes.
This is fantastic. To get to help out on the poll watching. Marty also consider not from recommend that in traditional poll watcher role be expanded to cover chain of custody things, like early voting, signature verification, drop boxes, whatever, that the old school cheating doesn't happen at the poll. It happens in the whole chain of custody. So and we need people at all points of the chain of custody around the country. If the party would consider advocating to the election officials here to make sure that observers and challengers are at all parts, I think that would be really good.
Yes, and we do actually, we do have access to, as a poll watcher, okay, you have access to the chain of custody with the ballots. You also have, you go to absentee, and some of you have come with me to absentee on election day. You can watch the absentee ballots be open. You also are allowed to stay even after the polls close, watch them shut it down. You can watch the count. If you want to go in and watch the ballots through, you're allowed to access all of that. So it isn't just sitting there watching. A lot of ways where you get access to see things. And it is a wonderful experience to learn steps. I mean, I didn't realize that I was watching all the different steps in there. So it is real eye-opening, and it's a great learning experience with poll watching. We've got it set up at different locations in 2-hour increments, so you can sign up for the days you want to go. Obviously, early voting is also on Saturdays. If you work during the week and you can only do Saturdays, that's fine. If you're retired and you want to work, you want to go out 2 days a week, you can do that too. You can pick where you want to go, when you want to go, and that kind of thing. So we're really poll watchers. So if you need some information on that, please come see us, talk to us, let us know. Are there any other, does anyone have any announcements? Arvin?
Got some passing around here. One of the coalition studies, protect government transparency. Got QR codes on it. Got donate, volunteer.
Okay.
It's, application here for it.
Is that for the FOIA? Is that the FOIA?
FOIA and the act and the.
Okay, so if you want to sign a petition,
If you have not signed it, I have it here. And I sign it tonight. Please scan the QR code. That also helps you.
okay, so go see Marvin if you're interested in that, Jackie.
Explain why she.
Right.
Accountability of.
And we'll see if she plans to come to the meeting in March. Dale, I'm sorry, I can't.
I am.
So what? For FOIA? Okay, so Dale also has FOIA petitions. Yes, Rick?
Along the same lines as Jackie, I think that you the majority of the people that were at our those two amendments that you put forward, and we would like to formally, as to withdraw those, because we don't want them, and we've spoken and we've made our point. So whether she does it or not, and if she doesn't.
I don't know if they can be withdrawn, they've already been submitted, but I will, if you all want to hear from her, I will personally email her and tell her you would like to hear from her at the March meeting, if you can, and so maybe she will come and ask and answer questions that you have. Luke, did you have a question?
Former Pulaski County Constable Scott passed away. About hearing about this. I think it's the old manager. That's the complications, he strokes over the last months. He passed away.
Okay.
Monday or Tuesday.
Rick Scott? Okay, does anyone else have any announcements? Yes, Walter?
I would like to thank everybody's support. I'm running for Big Rock Township, Constable. That's everything south of the river. And now we'll do it in memorial to our brother. And then the support, the prayers, and everybody in this room. And I would just like to thank you. And in particular, This is my brother pulling up another.
We're proud of you for on it. And he does not have a primary opponent, which is why he didn't speak tonight. Otherwise, he would have spoken to us also.
I don't believe I also have a general, I don't think the Democrats.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Wait, any other announcements? Yes.
About, you know, getting. It's not just unsigned shut off, you sit down, take your turn, and take your clip. It's not just one side wins, one side. We have to really, if we're gonna come together, we really have to come together.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Walter. And then any other announcements? Announcements. Okay. Here, oh, okay, we got one more.
There is another ballot issue that's in the works being delayed by Attorney General in regards to paper ballots of this organization. Our vote is in Arkansas vote there. If that's the case, yeah, it's just a ballot issue. I don't know any updates already. That is being worked on.
Lori, yes, did you members?
Yes, Doc, did you have an announcement?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to make it clear, we did not vote to censor Jim McPhee. Censor and censure, two different words. Censor means you can't say anything. Censure means
Correct.
we're a study this group.
Right.
Two completely different words. And I thought I should bring that like from here. Say that he.
Right. Okay, so any other announcements? And I appreciate your patience. We had a long night since we missed January. We kind of had a lot in one night. So thank you so much for your patience. And the meeting is now adjourned. So yes, if you want to do the second district meeting, then come on and pay camera.
Well, folks, that's that.
Hey guys, I just want to introduce my guest, Jamel. Jamel is a visitor. He is in the United States for a couple of months. He's just had a brand new dad. Jamel is from Turkey. He's close to me, he's hung out with me, and I'm telling you, he's a great guy, so let him know that you appreciate him. He just wanted to